102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:33 and Elton John with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds, but pretty gusty winds out there today. High of 40 miles an hour with a temperature about 39. Tonight, some passing clouds, low of 15. And then for tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 29. It's about 36 degrees right now in downtown Springfield. What a show today. More Joe Bonamassa tickets. He's coming to Foxwoods. We'll give you all the details about that. Also, another round of Am I the A-Hole? And the two hosts of the Move the Mic podcast. It's a podcast that's recorded and produced out of Northampton. Damian Therian and Eric Williams are the two hosts. Steve and I have been guests on that podcast in upcoming episodes. So we'll be talking to those guys after 8 o'clock. And there's other stuff, too. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:51 and Journey with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Partly cloudy and breezy today with a high of 40. Tomorrow, partly to mostly sunny with a high of 30. It is 35 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
There's some random facts for you!
Okay.
Kate Winslet did considerable underwater training for the 2022 movie Avatar, The Way of Water, to the point where she could hold her breath underwater up to 7 minutes and 14 seconds.
Well, didn't she hold her breath underwater when she was being rescued after the sinking of the Titanic?
No, she didn't hold her breath at all. She was safe on that. She let Leonardo was the one that went into the water. She didn't gulp any water. That wasn't the thing that she gulped in that movie.
Yeah, probably not. No, I don't
remember
really.
That steamy car scene in the back, huh?
Oh, I was thinking the movie like the cocktail service on the Lido deck.
She had a Leonardo DiCappuccino, if you know what I'm saying. Frothing at the mouth.
I was going to say, with a lot of oozing froth.
Yeah, right around the mouth part. There are size A and B. Why? I don't even know why this is in here.
Because you put it there.
No, it's in the showbiz section. Random facts. But it only has the one thing about showbiz. The other ones are... there are A and B batteries. They're just rarely used in anything. They're still occasionally used overseas for things like bicycle lamps.
Well, that's good to know.
Well, this is more of like we've turned Hollywood Trash into a how it's made segment.
Well, I mean, just because it's called Hollywood Trash doesn't mean that we're forgetting the trash part of it.
Shakespeare became rich by hoarding grain and then selling it for ridiculous prices during a famine. Then he used that money to run a lending business and was once charged with tax evasion.
I knew that guy was a ripoff.
Well, I mean, you know, he was. Oh my! I just watched the Curb episode the other day. Albert Brooks. He was a COVID hoarder, and he had all that hand sanitizer and toilet paper and sterile gloves in his coat closet.
And he organized his own funeral at the Globe Theater. Until everybody found out he was hoarding, and then all of a sudden he was exposed to actually being alive.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. Let's see. All right, let's go back to the... how about the Super Bowl? We'll talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
The ads that are going on. Companies continue to spoil their own surprise by releasing their Super Bowl ads ahead of time. What is even the point of watching the game? It's already going to be a game that the only people are going to be watching are the people in Philadelphia and the people in Kansas City.
Oh, that's not true. Everyone's going to be watching it.
You really think so?
I'll be watching it. I could care less who wins. In fact, I don't think both. I never wanted two teams to lose more than these two teams simultaneously.
I guess I could download Tubi and watch it for free, but I'm not buying into it. I got rid of all those the regular TV channels. I don't have any of them.
Then I'll text you the score.
I'll just Google it. If I can watch the only thing I watch the Super Bowl for is the ads, unless there's a team that I actually care about that's in the Super Bowl. So I'm just going to watch the ads.
Huh. Okay.
If they're all online, who cares? Why do I have to sit there and watch that?
Well, you go do that. I'm going to hang out with everybody else in America and watch it live on TV.
Then you can be the informer come Monday morning when we...
Yeah.
And not like the snow informer, like the informer.
Well, that's why I was offering to text you periodic scores.
I don't need that. I can Google that on my own.
Fair enough.
Coors Light decided to forego celebrities in favor of sloths, and frankly... And I wish I really hadn't even seen this one until the game.
They wanted something that reflected more of their customer?
Yeah, everything from the concept to the execution is pretty good. Like, it's very slow. They're sloths. It's not supposed to be a fast-paced commercial.
I see.
You can't be fast or furious when you're enjoying Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Just ask Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and Ludacris, who are in a commercial for Haagen-Dazs.
Wow.
Where's that Paul Walker? I thought he was supposed to be in that Haagen-Dazs commercial.
He's moving as fast as the sloth these days.
Yeah. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft produced a powerful ad through his foundation to combat anti-Semitism. It stars Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady. Gee, that's what the world needs right now.
We want everybody to live together in perfect, peaceful harmony.
And Kris Jenner scolds Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt in Meta's commercial for its new AI glasses.
That's going to be great.
You think so?
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. If I can watch all these commercials ahead of time, what's the point of even watching the game?
The last 5 years, I've watched the Super Bowl and watched the commercials, and at the end of it said, they weren't that great.
No.
Even though I haven't been actively seeking out any of the Super Bowl commercials because I hardly ever watch live TV.
And you would think somebody who's spending $8 million on a Super Bowl ad would actually have some substance to a commercial, but they don't.
No. Half the time you don't even know what they're advertising.
I would love to be able to just poop away $8 million and go, that was my somewhat best.
Steve, trust me when I tell you, you're wasting more than enough money here.
That castle that Jaden Smith wore on his head to the Grammys is a wearable art piece from a design house called Abodi, and you can buy one for yourself if you get an extra $4,600 in your bank account.
See, I thought that was just done on a dare.
No.
Like, hey, Jaden, put your head in this castle, and he can't get it off, and he's got to go to the Grammys that night. Like, Mom, Dad, help me with this castle off my head. And they can't take it off. They tried everything. They tried calling the fire department. They tried greasing his neck up with butter. Sorry, son, you're just going to have to go to the Grammys with a castle on your head.
Did they try olive oil? Because that's what I would have went with. The Final Destination people really painted themselves into a corner when they decided to build their franchise on increasingly complex death scenes. We're at 6 movies now. 6 Final Destinations. And we haven't reached the final destination yet.
Shouldn't there be a final destination? Isn't that the whole point of a final destination?
There should be. Final Destination Bloodlines hits theater on May 16th, and it features death by nose ring. I'm serious about that. A guy meets his end thanks to a combination of his nose ring, a long chain, a ceiling fan, and some fire. And not to spoil anything, because they put the whole scene on YouTube yesterday anyway. So I guess you're going to have to find out what the other ones were.
Whew. Can't wait to jump right in.
Kim Kardashian is getting ready for her Super Bowl party, and, it's Kansas City Chiefs theme because her favorite player is Travis Kelce because he's a tight end.
Mm-hmm. Well, she must have something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I had this much tight end was when Ray J took his Dick Butkus and sprayed the red zone with Brotein in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
Caitlin?
Did you ever have Brotein from Dick Butkus?
No, but I have had a dick button.
I bet you have.
Different sport, though.
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once played Poke in the Pigskin. A little lineman pooter pack.
What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is I gave her the Portland Poon Punt and Raw Dog the Fart Box. You ever Raw Dog the Fart Box there, Bax?
I think that's personal.
Well, I think maybe you should try it once in a while. Get a mask. And that's your Hollywood trash on Rock 102.
A beer adventure awaits at One Way Brewing in Longmeadow. Sports is brought to you. This is View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? As many of you know, I'm not much of a gambler. I'm far too attached to the dwindling remnants of my bi-weekly paycheck, thanks to my many financial obligations. So I don't spend a lot of time worrying about point spreads or money lines or picking the over or under. If that's what you're into, you'll get no real judgment from me. However, there are times when a guy, such as a referee, umpire, or certified official, should be vaguely aware of the rules and ethics surrounding such perfectly legal activity. For example, yesterday, Major League Baseball fired umpire Pat Hoberg after it was discovered that he may or may not have shared his legal betting accounts with a friend. That friend may or may not have taken that information and may or may not have placed bets on Major League Baseball games. That was probably a mistake. Perhaps not as much of a mistake as hastily deleting text messages that may have been important to the subsequent investigation, but a mistake nevertheless, especially since interfering with an investigation by destroying evidence is actually worse than gambling on sporting events that you might have something to do with. Of course, Pat Hoberg is denying these allegations and has been since May of last year. Unfortunately, he has completely exhausted the appeals process, and so now he is out of a job and will not be eligible for reinstatement until 2026. Now, I should point out that Pat Hoberg's friend, the one at the center of this whole mess, is in fact a professional poker player. Now, if I were a guy whose entire professional career hinged upon the integrity of my judgment, which thankfully it does not, why would I be giving a professional gambler access to or share any of my personal financial accounts? Oh yeah, perhaps it's because I'm an idiot that didn't see that coming. Nor did I consider the possibility that my vigorously deleted text messages could be magically recovered with a proper warrant. Why, it almost makes acting in an unethical fashion not even worth the effort anymore. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Did you say, someday I'm going to replace that sorry-looking, busted-up garbage can? Well, that someday is today. You need to go to Rocky's, get the extra tough, extra handsome Rubbermaid 32-gallon garbage can with wheels for only $27. You'll find it at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:13, and Ozzy with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be, and I'll tell you, I don't even know. It's supposed to be partly cloudy today with a high of 38. Tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28. It's 35 right now in downtown Springfield. You know, I could pass a drug test, no problem.
Could you?
Yeah, I stopped using marijuana.
What?
Yeah.
You're like my... I placed you on a pedestal as like the number one user of. You're like Tommy Chong of Western Mass.
I at the end of last year, I just said, you know what, this is like losing its luster.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't do what it used to do for me anymore, and I'd rather have to be. I didn't like quit it for good. I want to be able to like enjoy it again. And you're not. I'm not enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying it anymore.
No, was it just we're just losing the luster, or you weren't enjoying being all slap happy and stuff?
Well, no, I can be slap happy without it. But it was more, I was using it to go to sleep.
Right.
But the problem when you do that is that you get the munchies, and if you stay up too late, then you start gorging on sugar and all this other crap. So I decided, you know what, that's probably not the healthiest thing for a guy who has 8 polyps removed from his colon the other day. So maybe I should just stop doing that.
You know, you're supposed to put those gummies in your mouth, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. I know that it doesn't have the same addictive properties. I'm trying to ignore you. I know it doesn't have the same addictive properties as like narcotics or like alcohol and things like that. But you can get addicted to anything, and you can get addicted to the habit of doing something all the time. Now, granted, the withdrawals were not like quitting drinking and if you were to quit smoking or whatever. But, it did cause headaches and sleep disruption and all that stuff. But that lasted for about a week, and then, I feel great not doing it. So
what have you? What new vices have you picked up?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, I haven't. Maybe a little increase on the coffee.
Okay.
Because they feel like you almost need some sort of stimulation to get yourself through the
Well,
day.
there are other ways to stimulate yourself that have nothing to do with coffee.
Yeah, that's true.
And it can be very addictive.
Well, frequent masturbation has always been a bad habit of mine.
There's that one, too.
Yeah. Is that what you were getting at?
No, but
Yeah.
since you brought it up.
But I still, it's a legal drug. I still find it a better alternative than to do narcotics or alcohol or anything like that.
Right.
But, here we are at the point where this story just came out overnight. A public health and safety advisory was issued for certain marijuana products sold at numerous locations for the potential of containing contaminants.
Oh, boy.
Now, the contaminants you used to get were because you never knew where the bag of weed came from your buddy's brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it could be laced with like decon rat poison.
Yeah, something like that. But the high is so good.
Oh,
man.
you start seeing some things.
Yeah, you start seeing rats wanting to rebel against you when you take decon rat poison.
A lot of like rats and mice saying, hey, man, a lot.
There's Tom and Jerry cartoons. The mouse wins all the time. Was that Jerry or Tom? Tom was the mouse.
Tom was the cat.
Tom was the cat.
Like Tomcat.
I got you. Anyway, the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission issued the alert Monday stating that marijuana products sold by two separate licensees may have been sold containing yeast, mold, and or coliforms exceeding the threshold of acceptable limits.
Now, coliforms, those are those little plastic things you used to play with in the 70s. Like you put like a little thing down on a plastic thing and they would stick.
Is that what it is?
Colorforms.
I'm
sorry,
yeah,
I was wrong. Yeah, colorforms.
No, I was thinking of that vegetable that they replaced for low carb options.
No, Steve. That's cauliflower.
No, I thought that was the thing that happens to your ears with wrestlers when they don't wear headgear.
No, Steve. That's cauliflower ear.
I got you. Anyway, exceeding the threshold of acceptable limits, steps have been taken to further prevent further sales of the potentially contaminated products. Now, the products sold between May 31st of 2024 and January 23rd of 2025 initially passed testing. However, additional compliance testing ordered by the commission found yeast, mold, and coliforms above acceptable limits for the strains Slap and Tickle and Tiger's Eye.
Now, were those the one of your favorites, either one?
No, but you know what? That was because I'm the kind of guy that would go into a dispensary and go, hey, which one is the one that somebody says that's too much for me? And I go, that's the one I want. Right?
Yes.
But these stupid names that they come up with for all that stuff, who knows if that could have been marketed under a different name and now they're just putting it out there.
I mean, I can name all the times I've been in a dispensary in one or two fingers, but I mean, honestly, just because I name it Slap and Tickle doesn't mean it's called that at every dispensary, is it?
Yeah. No, it might not be.
It'd be like the difference between like a Big Mac and a Whopper. I mean, they're both hamburgers, but
I don't
called
know.
the same thing.
I mean, obviously these are sold at multiple locations around the Commonwealth. So yeah, you might find the Slap and Tickle in another place. But it's just the stupid names that they come up with for this stuff. How do you take a kid seriously? They're trying to educate you on the benefits of it when you're standing there in the dispensary.
Right.
Well, this one relaxes you, and this one's supposed to be good for your chakras, dude. Then they're giving you all the information about it. And
right.
What's it called? Alaskan Thunder F. And I'm like, how do you take something like that seriously? At least drug companies with the drugs.
Yeah.
They have bougie names to them, I don't know, Prozac or something like that.
No, just again, I'm not a big user or a big consumer of this stuff. So do people walk in and say, hey, listen, I'm looking for something because my chakras are all out of whack.
Yeah.
You got any chakra help? Products?
I mean, you can describe what you want to these folks, and then they'll guide you to the right one that they think was good for you.
Well, that's good to know.
The second case, and then they list all these places where you can find the bad strains. The second case where products were sold between September 18, 2024 and January 30th of 2025 initially passed testing. However, additional compliance testing ordered by the commission found yeast and mold above acceptable limits for the strains Carbon Fiber, Frosted Jungle, Highland OG, and Silver Kush.
Those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
The story lists out all the many dispensaries across the state that are having these issues. We're not going to list them all because, my God, there's a whole hell of a lot of them. But you just sometimes have to wonder, are you getting everything you want at your local dispensary? Well, because I'd be honest with you, if I'm going to be blazing up bong hits all day, I don't need extra yeast.
I was going to get a yeast infection, but then I got high.
I was going to have a bunch of mold in my lungs, but then I got high.
Now I'm coughing lung butter, and I know why.
Why, Steve?
Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. So watch out for your weed.
Yeah, be careful. Mm-hmm. It's 6:22 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Hey,
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:27, and Lenny Kravitz with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
This week, my guest on Baxy's musical podcast is Tex Mosley from the band The Neverland Ranch Davidians, a great band that began a lot of notice from guys like Little Steven from Little Steven's Underground Garage, a couple other places. They got a brand new record that's coming out later this week called Shout It on the Mountain. It is awesome. And you can hear that interview today on Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube, rock102.com, and on the Rock 102 app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to laugh?
I do.
All right. Well, maybe you should go somewhere else then.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
On Rock 102.
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
My printer died last night under suspicious circumstances.
Really?
Yes.
What happened?
Epson didn't kill himself. You see? Get it? Like the Epstein thing?
Epson.
I had another one, but I can't go with it.
You can't?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. It's a little too edgy. Do you want me to try it?
Is there a way to not make it so edgy?
No, probably not.
Okay, well, then we don't have to do it.
Well, but it's kind of funny. And,
all right, well,
it's really up to your imagination whether or not it's funny or not.
If it's too much, I'll hit the button.
What's the difference between Norwegian and Finnish?
I don't know, Steve. What's the difference between Norwegian and Finnish?
I can't Norwegian on your backside.
I honestly don't even know what that means.
I didn't even know there was a difference between those two groups of people.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your Western Mass News.
6:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. It's brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. His local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Connecticut State Police arrested a man from Holyoke on Saturday after a stolen vehicle chase in which the driver struck multiple vehicles while evading police. At around 7:47 p.m. on Saturday, Connecticut State Police said that Hartford troopers received a report from the Mass State Police regarding a stolen vehicle traveling south on I-91 into Connecticut. Troopers were told that the driver did not stop for the Massachusetts officers. They just stop at the line and they say, well, see if Connecticut can do it.
Can't go past there.
The stolen vehicle, identified as a green 99 Toyota Corolla with Massachusetts plates, was broadcast by troopers and found shortly after. The officers used traffic on I-91 from a travel lane shut down to prevent the vehicle from escaping. State police said that when the operator of the car began to be boxed in by the troopers, he began driving evasively. When troopers exited their vehicles and commanded the driver to exit, he did not stop and drove in reverse, striking multiple stopped vehicles, including 2 police cruisers. Troopers followed the suspect, activating their emergency lights and siren as he put the car back into drive, cutting into traffic and crashing into more stopped vehicles. State police were eventually able to use a stop stick on the car's front tire and disable the vehicle against a guardrail. The suspect exited the vehicle and tried to run towards the center median. State police had sent out Canine Nash, from like Crosby, Stills, and Nash?
Yes, but the dog version.
Who bit the suspect and caused him to fall to the ground. Troopers were then able to arrest the suspect, who was later identified as Roland Garcia of Holyoke. Garcia was brought to a Connecticut hospital due to minor injuries from the dog bite. Investigators found that Garcia had a suspended driver's license and that he had struck 9 vehicles. 9 vehicles? I don't remember striking 9 vehicles.
I stopped counting at 4.
While evading the troopers, he was charged with reckless driving, disobeying signal of an officer, and driving in the HOV lane without a passenger. No, I don't know.
At what point do you say to yourself, all right, I may have made a tremendous mistake here?
I don't think he really cared about what he was doing.
I mean, do you think the entire time, I'm sure I'm going to get out of this?
Yeah.
I'm an excellent driver. I may have hit 9 cars, but they're never going to catch up to me, these coppers.
I like it. I like how they charge him with failure to maintain proper lane. They created a roadblock. How are you supposed to maintain the proper lane if you got a bunch of cop cars trying to push you over to the side of the road?
If you hadn't restricted him, I'm sure he would have obeyed the rules of the road. Most of them.
I'm fighting that charge.
That feels like entrapment to me.
Yeah, you cops. You try to you form a line and you try to push me over into a guardrail.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are?
I stole the car. Yeah, I hit 9 cars. But you know what? That whole thing with the lane restriction, I was framed.
Well, the car had a frame to it, which is now bent, which is going to have to be replaced.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. The Massachusetts Attorney General's office announced on Monday that a Lawrence man was arraigned in court for allegedly trafficking nearly $500,000 worth of fentanyl. The large-scale narcotics takedown began on October 2024 when the AGO's Enterprise and Crimes Division received information alleging that 48-year-old Alonzo del Carmen Soto. Rosanna Dana.
This is the Boutros Ghali of local drug addicts.
Is that his name, or did they just add the extra Soto in there by accident? Alonzo del Carmen Soto.
Was there supposed to be like a period after the first Soto?
I don't know. Was distributing trafficking amounts of fentanyl in the Lawrence area. The division.
God, a nice place like Lawrence.
Yeah. The division worked alongside Massachusetts State Police troopers and their Commonwealth Interstate Narcotics Reduction Enforcement Team, as well as the Methuen Police Department, to investigate these allegations. The team used surveillance and cell phone data reviews for months to determine that it must be his name, that Soto lived on Arlington Street in Lawrence. The troopers made 9 controlled fentanyl purchases from him. After the search warrants, basically, whatever. They took him down. He had a bunch of fentanyl on him. This was an elaborate scheme to bring him down. Or he was running an elaborate scheme, and they took him down. Elaborate investigation.
So they needed 9 purchases to bag this guy?
Yeah, what was it wasn't Goodfellas, when was it Jimmy 2 times?
Yeah.
Go to get the papers.
All right.
Oh, my name's Soto. Alonzo del Carmen Soto. Are you Alonzo del Carmen Soto? No, I'm Alonzo del Carmen Soto.
You must be thinking of the other Soto in town.
Yes, we're not related, by the way. I have the extra last name, the extra Soto.
I have exactly 100% more Soto.
Well, I mean, you probably you probably have a little bit more experience with the extra Soto name.
Man, I would have been better off stealing a car, having the cops put up a roadblock.
Yeah.
Stop sticks, hitting 9 cars. I would have been so much better off.
There's a new pizza spot in downtown Springfield. Tower Pizza held its grand opening at Tower Square on Monday. If you're a pizza lover or you enjoy eating... What?
Are you kidding me? Yeah. That's how the story goes?
If you're a pizza lover or just enjoy eating, you now have another restaurant to check out. Tower Pizza is a Puerto Rican-owned pizza restaurant.
Just enjoy eating. If meals are important to you.
Yeah. If taste has anything to do with what you do when you eat food, this is the place for you.
This sounds like the kind of story that's actually going to explain what a pizza is.
They offer everything from pizza specialties to Italian-American pizza pie and Latino fusion cuisine. 22 News spoke with the owner, Michael Baez, about what it means to him about now that the restaurant is officially open. He said, with the support that we've gotten, it means everything because we did not expect to get the influx of people to show up and show us all this love. My life as a kid started off as a nightmare, and now we're just living a dream, just good to go and ready to keep rocking. Some specialty items on the menu include the tripletta, which Baez says is a staple of the island of Puerto Rico. Customers can enjoy a mofongo pizza and calzone. That sounds dirty.
It does.
And some Puerto Rican pie. That sounds dirty, too.
Actually, it's probably delicious.
Different kinds of sandwiches. That sounds dirty.
No, it doesn't.
And the list goes on. The new restaurant is located in the food court at Tower Square.
Well, good luck. I wish them well.
You know, you get some pizza there, and then you can go over and get those chicken fingers from White Lion. Did you ever have those there, the chicken fingers?
You know, the food at White Lion has always been awesome.
It's really good.
It's really good.
And there's something about those chicken fingers.
Yeah.
They're like they're fresh. It's fresh chicken. It's not like frozen box chicken.
I think the last time we did an event over there, I got there a little bit early,
Yeah.
got myself like a cheeseburger. And I thought, oh my God, this is so good. So good. But then again, it's always good that new restaurants are coming into downtown Springfield, so I wish these guys all the best.
It gives you little options.
Yes.
Not just what was it was just before White Lion came in. It was just that sports bar at the Sheraton, right? Was there anything else in there?
Was that where Spaghetti Freddy's used to be?
No, Spaghetti Freddy's was the warehouse over on, wasn't it? Or
No, that was Spaghetti Warehouse. But there was a Spaghetti Freddy's in Tower Square, and I think it was Currents for a while.
Yeah.
And now it's White Lion, where people actually go.
Well, you know, that's the key. You have to get a restaurant in there that people actually want to go to.
And go more than once.
Yeah, that's
where they have a good experience. Say, we need to come back here and do that again. That's the best kind of restaurant.
Oh, the owners at Tower Pizza used to be chefs at the White Lion, as I'm being told.
Oh,
how about
that? Well,
that?
there you go. Perfect. Good for
them. Mix your food. A new milestone was announced on Monday for the Palmer train station, coming after much controversy over the location. The Mass Department of Transportation announced on Monday that the south of Palmer Yard, which is 1199 South Main Street, is the best site for the future Palmer train station. This is a critical milestone in the Healy-Driscoll administration's efforts to advance to West-East Rail.
Okay. Now, where is that in, say, like relationship to the steaming tender?
I have no idea. 1199 Main Street, Palmer. We're going to have to look this up.
Okay.
I don't. Oh, the steaming. It's about a quarter mile away from the steaming tender.
Okay.
It's further down the street near the Trainmasters Inn. I didn't even know there was a Trainmasters Inn in Palmer.
We actually went to dinner with some friends the other day.
At the Trainmasters Inn?
No, at the steaming tender.
It's right near the Yankee Flea Market.
Sure.
And the China House and the Palmer Antiques Co-op.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right in that area.
Sure.
So.
Well, there you go.
Well, now you'll be able to take a train from Palmer. Is it only a one-way out?
No, people actually return to Palmer.
Really?
The people who live in Palmer.
I thought
all their stuff is in Palmer.
I thought this was like an escape.
No, no.
Anyway, the south of Palmer Yard is located about half a mile from downtown Palmer and was chosen after extensive review, which included community engagement and feedback from local stakeholders. The site offers an amount of property that's needed for a platform to accommodate ADA needs and passenger train length. It will have fewer permit requirements and will be more affordable to build. It was also favored for its proximity to downtown because that's where it's happening. Downtown. So, all right.
Okay, good to know.
We're getting trains. It's big adults playing with trains now.
Mm-hmm.
How many years have we been promised all this, though? This has been going on since I can remember.
The whole rail discussion has been going on all across the country about, a lot of cities want to do light rail or, express trains and a lot of towns are, all real hot on the idea, and a lot of towns are like, I'm not sure we want to spend the money on all of that. But, we talked about, how successful it's been at Union Station in Springfield. The amount of people that have been, traveling in and out of there, it's increased dramatically, and that's a good thing.
It wouldn't be bad to get a quick ride to Boston. That's like one of the things we're kind of missing around here.
The East-West rail thing would be a huge benefit.
Yeah,
because Amtrak is a little pricey. Hard to do that every day.
All aboard America. All aboard Amtrak. What are you talking about? Pricey.
It's pricey.
Should be the cheapest one around.
Should be, but East West Rail would be cheaper.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be cloudy, maybe some sun a little bit later on this afternoon with a high of 39. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28. It is 35 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:51, and the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Cloudy to start, and then some sunshine this afternoon with a high of 39. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28. It is 35 right now in downtown Springfield.
So time's a-wasting on the Rock 102 Big Game Hookup. You go to rock102.com. You can sign up for your chance to win right now. One lucky listener will score a $200 gift certificate to the Yard Tavern. Cause a lot of damage to that place for $200. A $100 gift certificate to the Tudor House Liquors, and a Coleman Road Trip Excursion Grill courtesy of Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 59. We're going to choose a winner on February 7th. That is this Friday. Your chance to win the Big Game Hookup from Rock 102 Springfield Classic Rock.
Sweet.
Steve, is there some sort of event going on this Thursday night, say like in Westfield?
Yeah.
What have you?
There's actually a $20 dinner and a comedy show going on at the Shortstop Bar and Grill.
That's wasn't what I was thinking. It was.
Everybody's, if you're worried about the economy or whatever like that, don't worry about that because there's always a place, and the price will never change. It's the price will never change now. It's $20 for a dinner and a comedy show.
Yeah,
Who knows
these
what the
these trade
holds?
wars may really turn things around.
You never know. You never know.
With a comedy suddenly becomes more expensive.
Yeah, well, it could be. It could very well be. But for now, it's still $20. As long as you tell me ahead of time, you want to pay that. You want to pay that tariff on the $5 tariff. You can just show up at the door.
And you don't want like 10,000 border guards standing
Yeah,
there
yeah,
between West Springfield and Westfield.
Yeah, we don't have enough National Guard members to keep you back. But yeah, it's $20 if you tell me ahead of time, or if you buy them via Venmo, which you can do. It's already more than half sold out.
That's great.
You really need to get these tickets if you're going to go. And comedian Mike Hanley, who's a very, very funny guy,
real funny.
He's going to be closing out the show, so it's like a treat. Where else can you get like a big headline name guy like Mike Hanley for $20 and get dinner with it too, and see a bunch of amateurs try comedy too?
I know you can't find that anywhere.
No, you can't. So make sure you get those.
All right, good.
I did a whole video about this yesterday. Did you see my TikTok video about the He-Man?
Yes, I did see that one. Yes,
Pretty disturbing, wasn't it?
yeah, that's kind of disturbing.
I did this video where I talked about rest in peace John Irwin, the guy who was the voice of He-Man, and I loved that show. That was my favorite show as a kid. The worst episode was when I came home and the shuttle was exploding all over the TV, but that was a one-off. They never redid that one again.
They never put that in reruns.
Yeah. Well, they played it over and over and over again that afternoon. They just that was something I wasn't expecting.
Has anyone checked in on Skeletor to see if he's responsible?
You could see in the smoke. You could see Skeletor's face, kind of like you could see the devil in the 9/11 cloud, right? Anyway, so. I used to watch that show all the time, and I explained in the video that it was kind of like my escape from being part of a dysfunctional family, and how I used to play with the figures, the He-Man figurines, and then act out things in my dysfunctional family, and I go on to explain how Man-at-Arms got up and urinated in the dishwasher the one night, and then he backhanded Tila, and he told He-Man that he wasn't good enough to be his son or son-like
right.
figure, because
Sure.
I think it was like Man-at-Arms was like his uncle or something like that. And then there was like some really dark times in my childhood. My dad pulled a gun on my sister.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that story.
Yeah. My sisters were fighting, and he got up from his drunken stupor and pulled a shotgun on them. To which he then, he got arrested for that. They
that's
arrested him.
Probably for
the best. But that was that was pretty traumatic, actually. I was a little kid. I was only like 8 years old. My siblings are older than me. They were like teenagers when that happened.
But that's
And,
enough to be carrying with you for the rest of your life, even at 8 years old, maybe
Yeah.
even more so.
But the point of the whole story was turn that frown upside down and come to the $20 dinner and a comedy show, and you can hear more traumatic things like this as I explain what happened in my childhood.
That's going to give you a really homey feeling.
We had to go to court. He had to go to court, and then we were forced into family therapy. Like we all had to go for this family therapy.
I bet that went very well.
Yeah, I mean, but really, nobody was. This is where the courts kind of failed because they weren't really addressing the problem of the group, the troublemaker, if you will.
Right.
They included all of us in that whole thing, which I thought was kind of stupid. I mean, why wouldn't you just go after this guy? You know. And then I had to endure. There was a kid that lived up the street, and I got on the school bus.
Right.
Because it happened during the summer. It was like the end of summer, like before we went back to school. And I remember getting on the school bus, and then this kid who was this, like, I don't know. And this is nothing against cops, but he was from a law enforcement douche family. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know
they
the
were
family.
all, like, really, like, gung-ho. They had police scanners, and the kid's like, what happened with guns at your house over the summer? I heard it on the police scanner.
Oh, my God.
So, he had to, like, go in and endure that.
Yeah.
Some really dark times in my childhood. But
you will laugh like crazy about it on Thursday.
Listen, I'll tell you all the workings of that scenario. For $20.
Wow.
And you get dinner with it, too.
That's-
If you can keep it down after listening to what I just experienced.
Ironically, that $20 is the same about the approximate cost of the copay it took for you and your family to go into therapy together.
Yeah.
That's great.
The peeing in the dishwasher was just like a bonus. That was to make everything okay.
It's 6:58 at Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, as you know, the Super Bowl is this Sunday between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles at Caesars Superdome in New Orleans, home of the NFL's New Orleans Saints. And while most people are fixated on things like who's going to win or what sort of delicious snacks and beverages you'll be serving on Sunday night, many people will be focusing on other things like the halftime show, Taylor Swift, the commercials, and the possibility of a Kansas City three-peat. But you also have to consider the quickly emerging controversy in the NFL, which threatens to pose a major distraction this week as we head towards Super Bowl 59. According to several sources, a series of previously sealed emails has been leaked to the press that show that in 2020, the New Orleans Saints provided public relations assistance to the Catholic Church as the New Orleans diocese tried to muddle their way through a series of sexual assault allegations against several priests. 276 of these emails have now been released to the public despite a protective order which was meant to keep these emails secret. And yet somebody decided to violate that protective order and release them anyway to 3 separate publications. Now, obviously, the leaking of these emails does not take away from the hideous nature of the abuses that were committed by members of the church, but it does make you wonder what the hell the New Orleans Saints were thinking in not only getting in the middle of this situation, but also secretly providing help with, of all things, public relations. Not for nothing, but if I'm the owner of any adjacent business, I would probably not be going out of my way to give the church a helping hand. I'd probably be more focused on helping victims of the abuse rather than the ones that either committed it or participated in a cover-up. What does this have to do with the Super Bowl? Not much, but it could be occupying an awful lot of Roger Goodell's time this week. So if he seems a little distracted or agitated, now you'll know why. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, your furnace has been working overtime the last couple of weeks. You better change those filters. But you got to go to Rocky's for pleated basic air filters. Buy 3, get 1 free. Mice moving in? Mouse traps are also on sale at Rocky's. The stuff you need around the house, you'll always find at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7-11 and Brian Adams with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today eventually with a high of 39. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a high of 28. It's 35 right now in downtown Springfield.
After 8 o'clock this morning, we're going to welcome the hosts of the Move the Mic podcast. These are two guys up in the Northampton area that have a podcast that's been running for a little bit of time now. You and I were both guests on two different episodes. We had a lot of fun with both of them. Damian Therian and Eric Williams will be here after 8 o'clock to talk about all of that coming up after 8.
Usually at this time we do Am I the A-Hole, but we'll do that tomorrow because there's something more pressing here that we need to talk about. Much more important for the general public. For us, transparency, I guess.
Sure.
With media. Porn star Bonnie Blue is being brutally roasted.
Bonnie Blue?
She needed the money! Brutally roasted after her record-breaking sex marathon with 1,057 men in 12 hours was banned. The high-profile British sex worker, whose Australian visa was canceled in November after public outcry over her viral schoolie stunt featuring barely legal young men, had planned to make a fortune by selling the video of her sleeping with 1,057 men. Isn't it barely illegal?
I think you're splitting hairs, Steve.
I'm sure she was splitting more than that. Yo!
Oh, zing, pow!
However, the explicit video has since been removed from the 25-year-old subscription site after OnlyFans reportedly said the X-rated clip breached its rules. OnlyFans has standards?
Well, that's it. I am never going to sign up for an OnlyFans account now.
What kind of world do we live in where a site that you go to pay for pornographic material has standards?
This is my fear. All right, so she's her video of her having sex with over 1,000 men banned by OnlyFans. I hope this doesn't ruin her reputation.
No, I'm sure it won't. I'm sure she'll be back on her feet in no time.
I don't know if she can be back on her feet.
Yeah, is that like the walk of the befuddled penguin we were talking about last week? OnlyFans is a platform designed for creators who have completed our comprehensive onboarding process and choose to monetize their content, a spokesman told Mail Online recently. To keep our community safe, OnlyFans also verifies the age, identity, and consent of all parties featured in explicit content on OnlyFans. We do not allow a large number of non-OnlyFans creators to be featured on an account even where release forms have been provided. So if they had paid a fee, they would have been allowed to do that.
Well, if they had paid a fee, that would be 1,057 counts of prostitution.
Yeah, well, true. Blue, who recorded the jaw-dropping video at a $30,000 mansion famed for hosting illegal sex parties, has previously been vocal about why she makes her controversial content, stating she often rage baits. Is that what you're calling it now?
I guess.
In order to boost subscriptions and ultimately line her pockets. As a result, social media are having a field day pointing out Blue's shocking sex stunt was all for nothing if she can't make any money for it. Imagine doing all that work for nothing, said a Facebook commenter. What an anticlimax, scoffed another one. Others have pointed out that no one has seen the video asking, did it even happen? That could be, too. I mean, it could be a marketing thing.
Yeah, with the right camera work and lighting and different positions of the camera, you probably make 10 people seem like 1,000.
Until I see the video proof, it hasn't happened, another Wingrid. As one stated, it hasn't been banned, it just doesn't exist. Skepticism about the stunt has been rife since Blue first alleged it happened in mid-January and just finished yesterday. Many speculated the extreme task was logistically impossible in the 12-hour time frame she said it occurred in. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot to do in 12 hours.
Recently my wife loves doing jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah.
And recently we did a 1,000-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
And at the start of it, you go and you look for all the edge pieces and you try to figure it out. But once you see that big pile of 1,000 pieces, your first reaction is, Jesus, I'm never going to get it through 1,000 pieces in this puzzle. That's a hell of a lot of pieces.
Yeah, I mean, you get through 200 of them.
Yeah.
And then you got 800 left. And you're like,
It took us longer than 12 hours to finish that puzzle.
if you did it every day, it would probably take you 12 days at least.
It took a lot. Yeah. It took maybe like 4 or 5 days before we finally completed it. So you try to imagine in terms of a jigsaw puzzle where you're trying to find the right piece to fill that space and then complete the puzzle in a timely fashion.
Yeah. Because they're all different sizes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Everything's coming at you in different angles.
Her claim was backed up by an unemployed security guard named Ollie Walker, who admitted he was in the queue for the sex session. He ended up backing out after being put off by the fact that the participants didn't get one-on-one time with her. Really?
You wanted to be sensitive here?
I thought we were shooting an Arby's commercial. I mean... all this horsey sauce everywhere and this, because it's not even like good roast beef. It's not like a boar's head. You ever have a boar's head?
Listen, I was just thinking about standing in line at the deli.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to stand there for 12 hours. I don't care how good it is.
Even if you got number 69 out of 1,057.
All right, number 999. How can I help you? Yeah. What do you got left in roast beef?
Yeah. We got some boar's head. May have listeria with it. Could cause a nationwide outbreak.
Listen, I think catching listeria in this situation is the least of your problems.
I know. Meanwhile, a video showing a concerned mother dragging her 19-year-old out of the line also appears to support Blue's claim that the sex marathon really occurred. You imagine getting you have to drag him out by the ear at that point. There's no shirt to grab onto.
Mom, you're embarrassing me against the other 1,055 other people here.
I was number 467. Come on.
I was in the first third.
Further fueling the mystery of this world record is that behind-the-scenes footage of the aftermath of the sex session has disappeared from YouTube. You mean BlueTube?
Right.
Ooh. The clip, which showed a large room littered with condoms, paper towels, and discarded blue baklavas? Is that how you say it?
Balaclavas. Those are the hats you wear.
Yeah.
Like they cover your entire head so no one can tell who you are.
Oh, so it's like...
It's a way of concealing your identity so that no one knows that you're an idiot that stood in line to have sex with a woman who is going to have relations with 1,056 other people that day.
Like the Proud Boys, right? They wear the masks over their face so nobody can tell who they are.
Yeah, listen, not for nothing. In all honesty, okay, all right. If we're being fair, she's an attractive woman, okay?
Yeah.
She's an attractive young lady. Would you even consider for a fraction of the moment of your life to be one of those 1,000 guys to stand in line for something like this?
No.
Good God, no.
Really? The meat wrinkle? You want to really get into that? Is that what you want to do?
I mean, a lot of guys would be kind of horrified by her body count to begin with before this even begins. Now you're talking about adding 1,000 new notches on the bedpost.
Yeah, interestingly, her unusual feat comes after just a month after health experts issued a warning over rival British porn star Lily Phillips' plan to sleep with 1,000 men, which a Sydney doctor said could take a severe physical and psychological toll.
I would imagine it would.
Sex at its core is a physically damaging or demanding activity that engages various muscles, the cardiovascular system, and the release of endorphins. Sydney medical practitioner Dr. Zach Turner, who specializes in preventative health and wellness, told Australian News, done in moderation, it's akin to a rewarding workout, promoting stress relief, cardiovascular health, and emotional bonding. However, when pushed to extremes like a 24-hour sex marathon, the physical and psychological toll can be severe. These are things I'll never have to experience anyway, so it's not,
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, I don't know if you could find 1,000 women that would line up around the block for you.
Who wants the flapper clapper? It's like wearing a wet leather boot.
She must look like one of them wind socks at the beach.
Like a wind sock in a stairwell. That's kind of how she's walking around like that. What is that noise? Is that a horse?
Oh my God! I can't even. I mean, I can't even imagine on so many different levels. I mean, after I'm done and I've I stood in line for all this. Are you going to tell all your friends? I mean, what's the reward here for you?
I don't know.
So tell me about yourself. What have you done? Well, I once had sex with a woman who had sex with 1,000 other men and me.
But I was the best.
I was the one she remembered.
I was the one that she had the connection with. Yeah. We bonded that day. We bonded.
I don't know what happened. I asked if I could see her again, and she never called back.
There you go. There you go. So
I feel cheap and used.
I don't think you'll ever see this video ever because I don't think it actually happened.
And I don't know you'll ever see this woman again because chances are she'll fall apart into a million pieces.
It would have been 1,058 if that mother hadn't come in and dragged that kid out of there.
It's 7:22 at Rock 102.
Sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. And add your favorite any size iced coffee in caramel, black, or French vanilla for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
It's 7:25 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown's got the full forecast for you.
Hey, this Friday I'm going to be at the Aria Ballroom at MGM for Free Music Friday. Gold Dust, New England's premier Fleetwood Mac and Tom Petty tribute band, will be performing. It'll be from 6:30 to 8:30. Stop by the Rock 102 table for a chance to win some pretty cool prizes. It's this Friday. Free Music Friday is back at MGM. 6:30 to 8:30 at the Aria Ballroom. That's on the second floor at MGM with me and the road crew from Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
What else is going on? I don't know. What do you got? You got anything?
Well, I mean, the Super Bowl is this weekend. Mm-hmm. You know, I got to, I'm not going to any parties. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay home.
Yeah.
Because you remember years ago, there was a woman that we know that used to throw she and her husband used to throw these big, gigantic Super Bowl parties at their house.
I was never invited to the elite home that you were.
I was never technically invited.
You just showed up with somebody else's?
Somebody else.
Tag along?
I was a tag along. And I went to this party, and it was the kind of party that, like, year after year, like, the news stations would show up with cameras, and they would show the party. And when I say it was elaborate, it was ridiculously elaborate. I mean, it was, by the pool, It's January, February. Everyone's watching it outside. They're watching it inside. There's snacks all over the place. There's propane heaters, every 10 feet. It was amazing. I don't want to be a part of a party like that anymore. I think I don't know if I've aged out of it or what it is. I really like the comfort of being at home for these things.
Did they too age out of it? Because I can imagine that, that was probably 15 years ago.
There were some situations, I believe, that, they just decided not to do it anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because... I
think they sold the house.
But the older that you get, I mean, now it's like, you know what? Why don't we just have a small lunch for the Puppy Bowl at 3 when it comes on? And we can have some chowder and go home by 5.
Honey, I'm just gonna make my Long Island Hep C's at home this year. I don't need to go out to the bars and hope to meet someone special on a night like Super Bowl
I can't
Sunday.
even do the Long Island Hep C's because of my rosacea. Now get me some decaf and some Sweet and Low, and we'll make this a Puppy Bowl party to remember.
It's Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Here's your West
One with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. It's brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Max. Well, it's Tuesday. That means the news dump comes in from the Springfield police, and the news stations finally pick up on things.
All right, well then back it up.
A loaded handgun and heroin led to the arrest of a Springfield man Friday night around 6:35 p.m. Officers on High Street saw a car reported stolen running in a no parking zone. The driver, later identified as 23-year-old Christopher Rivera, refused to turn the car off and began reaching for his waist while running away. Officers quickly caught up to Rivera and handcuffed him. They found the handgun in his waistband and a magazine for the gun in his pocket. They placed Rivera under arrest and recovered nearly $300 in cash. During the search of the car, they also recovered around 100 bags of heroin. Rivera will have to answer to several gun and drug-related charges in court this week. Okay. One person is recovering from minor injuries, and 3 people are displaced following a house fire on Sunday. Emergency crews were at the scene on Redden Road just after 3:30 p.m. From the photo shared on Springfield Fire's social media, you could see smoke coming from the house and all the first responders on the scene. They don't even have a reporter going to these anymore. They're just going by what they saw in the pictures.
Well,
and I guess these young kids, it's like, ooh, a picture book. Ooh, look at the smoke coming out of the house.
They have like a little tab you can pull, and like the fire engine passes by.
What did I see yesterday? I saw a TikTok video of what the hell is going on in the Waldo books, and it was like this scene where these like Vikings are overtaking a village, carrying people over there. I don't even know if it looked like a real book. And I'm like, wow, they're getting pretty dark with those Waldo books.
Yeah, I've seen the Waldo books. I never noticed much raping and pillaging in any of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I couldn't believe what I was seeing in the Waldo book. But again, it's on the internet. How true can it be?
Well, I believe nearly everything.
Everything?
Nearly everything.
I don't know if you.
I don't want to live in a world where I can't believe the things I see on the internet.
Well, I mean, you just you believe that there was a woman who had sex with 1,057 people.
Don't you?
No, I don't. Broccoli sold at Walmart is, that whole thing reminds me of that Groucho Marx thing where the lady said she had 12 children, and she goes, "I love my husband," and he goes, "I love my cigar, but I take it out of my mouth every once in a while." Broccoli sold at Walmart is recalled in 20 states after being labeled deadly by the FDA.
Vile weed.
I bet you all these kids are like, "We told you!"
This is the best news we've ever heard.
I remember when my kid was little. I was like, she was probably about 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to get her to eat broccoli. Kids just don't want to eat stuff like that. Even if you lather it in cheese sauce, you still can't get a kid to eat a green vegetable.
Right.
And I put 3 pieces of broccoli on her plate. And I said, listen, and I was doing this whole bribing thing. And I go, listen, I'll give you $5 if you eat 1 piece. I'll give you $10 if you eat 2 pieces. And I'll give you $20 if you eat all 3 pieces. And that kind of piqued her interest, going, maybe, okay, $20, right? She couldn't even get it to the tip of her tongue without almost vomiting. I can't do it. I don't even care about the money.
Well, you know what? I respect her integrity.
Yeah,
she can't be bought.
No,
with your vain attempts at bribery.
I would have taken that deal. $20 for 3 pieces of. I mean, now
I would have eaten a hell of a lot worse for $20.
I know. In a notice published on January 27th, the FDA upgraded its current classification of market-side broccoli florets to Class 1, which is the most severe type of recall. The 12-ounce bags created by Braga Fresh were originally recalled on December 27th as a precautionary advisory for risk of being contaminated with listeria. The recalled products, and they go on to say the UPC codes and the lot codes. The Walmart locations that received the potentially deadly affected products are nowhere around here.
Well, that's good.
Alaska, Arkansas, Arizona, California, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Kentucky, Louisiana, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming.
All right.
Why is this being presented?
Well, let's just say, hypothetically, that you were going to fly to Salt Lake City today.
Oh, yeah, well.
And you went to a restaurant and ordered the broccoli. I don't want anything else but broccoli. A big platter of broccoli, please, and a dipping sauce. Next thing you know, Steve, you're being carried out of there in a stretcher.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, if you hadn't heeded the warning, you would have gone to Salt Lake City, eaten it, and then eaten it.
I don't think that's not a scenario that most people. How many restaurants are buying the broccoli from Walmart?
Probably a lot more than you might think.
Really? They go to like a restaurant supply company, like Restaurant Depot.
No, they probably all get it from the same farms and the same packaging companies and everything else.
So. Police are looking to identify suspects who stole hundreds of dollars worth of dog food. According to the Waterford...
They stole one bag?
Yeah, right, the way it is now. According to the Waterford Police Department, on January 30th, 2 men were at Petco on Route 85 and grabbed 9 bags of dog food worth $861. You're not that far off, 9 bags.
Listen, I know what I spend to buy my dog food. It ain't cheap.
How much do you spend for a bag?
For a 40-pound bag, we buy the premium stuff, anywhere between like $68 to $70 a bag.
Oh, you're getting ripped off.
No,
Why
not
would you
really.
go to Costco and get the adult dog food?
Because you know what? After spending 30 years talking to Dave Ratner,
yeah,
the good food is the stuff that they need, not the cheap stuff. And my dog deserves good food.
Dave Ratner, because of the fact that he sells dog food, I don't believe a thing that comes out of that man's mouth. I mean, if you're in the for-profit business of selling bougie dog food, of course you're going to say that.
Sure.
How do you know what really is in your dog food? Now, I understand that the $10 bag of dog food is probably going to be the McDonald's of the
right
or the Wendy's of dog food. But the mid-grade price, the $35 from Costco, you're telling me that you'd rather spend. How much did you spend a bag?
Like $68, $69.
Come on.
Yeah.
You really can't complain about the high price of things if you're buying something like that.
Well, there are certain choices you have to make, and quite
you
frankly,
have decided
I'm not going to buy my dog food that's loaded with fillers and non-meat products.
You're buying the Palaner all fruit of dog food for your dog. You think the dog eats his own feces out in your backyard? Do you think he really cares about the quality of the food that you're giving him?
Steve, between that and his own vomit, that's an in-between meal snack.
That's what I'm saying.
And the food lasts a good long time. He doesn't actually eat as much. Yes.
$80?
No, not $80.
How much?
I said $69.
Which is like $11 away from $80.
Listen, I could split the difference and give you $20 for a comedy show and dinner at the shortstop, or have your kids eat broccoli.
You get a lot better deal with that.
You were willing to give your kids $20 to eat broccoli, and you're looking to criticize me or give my dog quality food?
That's because I knew they weren't going to take the money. Yeah, it's like running a gambling ring online. There's a certain amount of people that aren't going to take those bets. Well, the house always wins, by the way.
These are about choices, Steve.
But I can't believe that you spend that much money on dog food. Officials said they left in a dark-colored Chevy pickup truck. If you have any information regarding these suspects, you're asked to contact the Waterford police, and then they give the number and or the email address you can find. But, man, that's a lot of money. A lot of money.
What are you gonna do, man? What are you going to do?
I'm going to go to Costco, and I'm going to buy the $35 bag of dog food.
All right, you be that way.
Yeah.
You go right ahead.
Do we have to get off the air now?
Or we have guests coming up, but, do what you got to do.
But they're waiting, right?
Yeah, they're fine.
They're waiting in the wings.
They're heating instructions.
Technology has made it a lot easier to catch a cheating partner, although not always in the obvious ways. Last month, a woman went online to ask people for cleaning tips. She noticed that everything in her house was turning green, and she couldn't figure out what was causing it.
Oh, boy.
The green coloring was showing up on couch cushions, bed sheets, carpeting, her own socks, her phone charger, and even on her cat. On her pussy cat. In her post about it, she showed pictures where you could clearly see a green hue showing up on everything. She tested for mold. That wasn't it. She tested to see if it was her detergent. That wasn't it either. There were a lot of theories, but one person suggested that it could be brand new jeans from Old Navy because they, quote, stain everything. And the woman said that her and her husband aren't jeans people. But then someone else said, quote, imagine this is how you discover she's having an affair with some Old Navy wearing woman for the cat turning green. And apparently that's exactly what was happening. The woman later posted an update saying that she didn't take the comment seriously at first, but her husband had been acting strangely, so she started looking at his bank statements for Old Navy purchases. She didn't see anything, but when she looked through his phone, she found the evidence of an affair. And yes, the other woman was wearing jeans from Old Navy in her photos. It's unclear if the jeans, well, they were jeans. I shouldn't say they were Old Navy jeans, but she was wearing the green jeans in the thing. We don't know what the brand was. The random commenter who jokingly suggested the affair saw the woman's update and said, I was the Old Navy jeans commenter. I'm screaming for joy. Sorry you found out like this, but I'm glad the truth finally came out. Green jeans.
Green jeans. Why am I thinking of Mr. Green Jeans from Captain Kangaroo?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Mr. Green Jeans.
You didn't see like a grandfather clock all covered with like green schmutz or
no.
The dancing bear.
Well, things aren't made the way they used to be, Bax.
I understand that.
I remember you getting, my mom got me shoes from Payless. We've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to, if you dragged them across the floor in a school, they would leave
big black marks.
That big scuff mark.
Yeah.
And then Charlie, the janitor, was scraping them up with a razor later in the day.
Our school, the kids were told they could no longer wear black-soled shoes because of exactly that.
Really?
Yeah, because you had everybody make, once somebody figured out that you can make those big black tracks with your shoes, everybody started doing it.
Well, it must be the cheap rubber or plastic that's on the bottom of it. It wasn't really actual rubber. Probably.
They were not high-quality shoes.
No.
But you get these, all of a sudden, these linoleum floors are stained with these big black tracks.
I stand by the quality of those $12 Payless shoes. Gone are the days we had a place like that.
Yeah, where shoes were tied together when you took them out of a store.
Did you ever see that? You ever see that video where these idiots? This was years ago when Payless was still around. They had one of these like shoe things, but they made it bougie, and they were talking about how these sneakers were like $3,000 or $4,000 when they were really just the $24.99 pair you'd get from Payless.
Right.
And these idiots, this goes back to all of the things I've ever said about people who think they know about wine and beer and all this other stuff. Talking about the quality of these shoes, and they're like, yeah, I'd pay $3,400 for these shoes. They're high quality. They're from France and blah, 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 blah. And then they're revealed at the end, these are from Payless. You can get them for $24.99. People are dumb. People will fall for anything.
I'm not going to say anything. You're criticizing me over a $69 bag of dog food.
But listen, there's always truth in a $20 dinner and a comedy show over at the Shortstop Bar and Grill this Thursday, which you can message me if you want tickets. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be cloudy with a high of 39. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28, 35 in downtown Springfield right now. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Lurie Lumber.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:51, and Queen with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
Eventually, it mixes sun and clouds with a high of 39. It is 35 right now in downtown Springfield.
So, still yet to come this morning, tickets to see Joe Bonamassa. He's coming to the Premier Theater at Foxwoods on March 1st. We'll have tickets to the show, give you all the details about that. You want to find out more, go to rock102.com/concerts. Next hour, we're going to talk to the two hosts of the Move the Mic podcast. These are two guys that do their podcast out of the Northampton area, and it's mostly local comics. And it's actually really, really good. You and I were both guests, I think, last week. Mm-hmm. And those episodes will be showing up in about a couple weeks from now. So the two hosts, Damian Therian and Eric Williams, are both here in the studio. We'll talk to them in just a few minutes.
Let's see. What's going on here? Let's see. What bats? Bingo night. Did you know bingo can be helpful for your elderly friends and parents or whatever?
Yes. The elderly love bingo, and why wouldn't you?
A study found that bingo night could help your grandparents stay sharp. Seniors who stay social through things like a bingo and dinner with friends develop dementia 5 years later than people who are less social. And going to church can do it too.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't let you bring the daubers into like a Catholic mass. You can't say in the middle of the homily, bingo!
I don't know. I've seen some daubers in that confessional before.
No, but you have.
Yeah.
But you can't.
I yelled bingo, too.
You don't normally win prizes during a Catholic mass.
No?
Unless you're considering a communion host a prize.
Don't you play with the Eucharist and you put the bingo card on the on the thing?
You're supposed to ingest it and accept the body of Jesus.
Isn't that what those numbers are at the front of the church when they're doing the
No,
things?
Those numbers are to tell you what songs you'll be singing during the Mass.
Oh, I thought that was Jesus Bingo that they were playing there.
No.
Huh. Hey, you learn something new every day, don't you?
Well, I'm happy to bring you along back to what the world is going. What's going on in the world?
I can't remember the last time I played bingo before.
Playing bingo, not so much. Calling the balls.
Well, that was like 10 years ago, too.
10 years ago. But, yeah, I think I built up quite a reputation with the blue hairs and the Q-tips that were playing that night, that afternoon.
Remember that last bingo thing you guys called? And it was all like VHS tapes and things that were totally like outdated.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was like the slurry pile. It's the stuff you can find in that Amazon shop at the mall now.
Well, I think what happened is they went into the homes of people that may have passed on, members of the Elks Lodge that are no longer with us, and said, that's a whole drawer of socks. Let's see if we can give those away as prizes.
Yeah, the prizes are the rummage sale of the dead members.
I tell you, though, I had a hell of a reputation. I was the boss of the balls when it came to bingo.
Were you?
Oh, my. No one could call balls like me.
Well, you like picking the balls up.
I love you know what? If you have that vacuum ball sucker, that's great fun. Kind of like you do with like the lottery.
Yep.
At the Elks in Springfield, they had that machine. That was great fun.
Did they?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh.
All right.
One of the highlights of my career is calling the bingo at the sheriff's picnic.
I guess if you could win some serious money out of it, I'd be interested in it. But come on, what do you win? $5-10 if you go to like one of those lottery commission bingos?
Ooh, a 24-inch television. I hope that's not too big for my room.
Well, that would be good for the kitchen while you're making sandwiches.
Right, exactly.
Making
while you're
peanut butter.
making your Sanka, that would be a really good thing to do.
When you're making peanut butter and Miracle Whip sandwiches for the family, you can watch Bob Barker. I call him Baby Bob Barker because he's so tiny on the screen.
And on 24 inches, he looks even smaller.
I don't know who this Drew Carey is, but he's no Bob Barker.
That's the understatement of a year.
There you go.
It's 7:56 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Call.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? As many of you know, I'm not much of a gambler. Far too attached to the dwindling remnants of my bi-weekly paycheck thanks to my many financial obligations. So I don't spend a lot of time worrying about point spreads, money lines, or picking the over-under. If that's what you're into, you'll get no real judgment from me. However, there are times when a guy, such as a referee, umpire, or certified official, should be vaguely aware of the rules and ethics surrounding such perfectly legal activities. For example, yesterday Major League Baseball fired umpire Pat Hoberg after it was discovered that he may or may not have shared his legal betting accounts with a friend. That friend may or may not have taken that information and may not or may not have placed bets on Major League Baseball games. That was probably a mistake. Probably not as much of a mistake as hastily deleting text messages that may have been important to the subsequent investigation, but a mistake nevertheless. Instead, especially since interfering with an investigation by destroying evidence is actually worse than gambling on sporting events that you may have had something to do with. Of course, Pat Hoberg has been denying these allegations since May of last year. Unfortunately, he has completely exhausted the appeals process, and so now he is out of a job and will not be eligible for reinstatement until 2026. Now, I should point out that Pat Hoberg's friend, the one at the center of this whole controversy, is in fact a professional poker player. Now, if I were a guy whose entire professional career hinged on the integrity of my judgment, which thankfully it is not, why would I be giving a professional gambler access to or share any of my personal financial accounts? Oh, yeah, it's because I'm an idiot who didn't see that one coming. Nor did I consider the possibility that my vigorously deleted text messages could be magically recovered with a proper warrant. Why, it almost makes acting in an unethical fashion not even worth the effort anymore. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Did you just say, someday I'm going to replace that sorry-looking, busted-up garbage can? That someday is now today. You want to go to Rocky's, get the extra tough, extra handsome Rubbermaid 32-gallon garbage can with wheels, only $27. You'll find it at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 809 and AC/DC with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds eventually today with a high of 38. Tomorrow, more of the same with a high of 28. It's 35 right now in downtown Springfield.
So last week, you and I were both interviewed on the Move the Mic podcast. You did it with the first day. I did the next day.
Yeah.
I was absolutely fascinating.
I had never been interviewed on a podcast before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something new.
The podcasters are lining up to talk to me. They find me absolutely fascinating, and understandably so.
Yeah.
But the hosts of the Move the Mic podcast, Damian Therian and Eric Williams, are here. Guys, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you.
We're joking a little bit, but we both really did have a lot of fun. Last week talking to you guys.
It was great having you both on.
I think the most amazing part was seeing equipment that was much more sophisticated than we have here at an actual radio station.
You guys have a beautiful dentist's office down here.
It does look like a dentist's office.
Yeah. A little bit,
yeah. Well, but there's no cleanings down here.
Oh, okay. Just fillings?
But you get just fillings. Just cavity fillings that we get on a weekly basis from management. But you have like this whole camera system, and you got this whole thing, and it's pretty elaborate.
A lot of crazy crap on the walls. It looks a little bit like like a Planet Hollywood.
Yeah, it's definitely like a autist collage is the way I like to imagine my crafting abilities for a room.
It's breathtaking. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. Now you guys, you both have regular jobs, right?
Yeah.
During the day, you told me you were doing something.
I'm a blue collar guy. I will say there's probably at least 10 job sites that aren't doing a thing right now. They're all tuned in around the radio. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Yeah. There you go.
And then you what I don't remember what you did.
Yeah. Well, so I'm a landscaper by trade. So it's,
a landscaper. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Perfect for comedy,
Yep.
So you guys are both local comics.
Yes.
Yep.
And most of your guests, I think pretty much all of your guests have been local comics.
We also have had on musicians. Really, we want to have anybody in the area, artists, musicians, geologists, anything with an ist, really. Yeah.
Well, maybe not every ist.
An ist is a qualification, right?
Maybe not all ists.
Yeah, there's a few we don't want in there.
Yeah, but we're our mission is to let people understand how much talent there is in Western Mass, because there really is. I mean, I've been all around the Eastern Seaboard. I've seen comedy from here to Ohio, down in Florida and New York City. And what we have going on here in Western Mass is right up there with some of the best.
I agree with you. It is pretty unique around here, the diversity of talent that you have, whether it be music or comedy or theater or whatever. You do have a lot of people that reside in this area, and it's kind of an untapped area. Right. I would say for it's really only kind of known to us around here versus known to the rest of the country.
I think the problem, and you guys can address this or not, is there's a lot of talent, but a shockingly small number of places to display it, and that's been one of the problems, because we haven't had like a real full-time comedy club around here. It's been like a bunch of places that have had showcases and stuff like that. But if like a full-time comedy club that operates only as a comedy club, we haven't had that in an awful long period of time, which is a shame. But I mean, it's not an unusual case. But when you have this many, great comics and musicians, and they have to go other places to display what they do, I think that's unfortunate.
I mean, I'm no Joe Rogan. So I can't afford to build a comedy club, but I can afford to hook my buddies.
Have a spare bedroom in my apartment.
2-bedroom apartment into a place, where we can show off these people. Because, like I said, man, there's so many good comics. There's so many good artists. And this is a highway for entertainment. We're between, from New York to Boston, New Hampshire down to Connecticut. Everyone's got to come through Western Mass to get to where they're going.
And it's also the drug pipeline from Canada to New York City.
What do you think brings the comics to town?
Right. How did you guys get into doing the, just said one day you said, let's do a podcast and...
So we actually met at the Pulaski Club in East Hampton, and
we're all the greats meet.
Exactly.
Classy.
A nice Polish club.
Yeah.
And so a mutual friend actually introduced us, and we just kind of hit it off from there. And then we took off, and we started doing every mic together. We started getting booked on shows together. We were like a regular, like a Cheech and Chong, but we're both kind of degenerates, so it's more like a Peep and Tom.
Absolutely. We had chemistry. You know what I mean? And I like to pride myself on seeing talent. And when I seen this guy go up on stage, I knew, like, all right, I got a ticket. I'm gonna
likewise, brother,
latch on.
Ain't nothing wrong with jumping on someone's coattails, man. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, right. If you, that's what Bax has been doing with me for the last 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy might have some talent. I might have to get a jump on this bandwagon.
Yeah. It is the reason I hurt my back, by the way, carrying him for all this time.
But it does. There's a lot of work that goes into this thing because I honestly didn't know what to expect. I mean, you reached out to me kind of blindly because I never heard of you guys, and that's not an insult to you. That's just there's just so much media to consume in nowadays. And I had no idea that you guys had a local thing. And I'm like, oh, well, this could be fun. I mean, but you guys, you prepare, you have questions, you're ready to go. I mean, there's a lot of podcasts out there that I don't think they stand out so much because they're not prepared. Mm-hmm. And it's more of like, well, let's just sit around and shoot the crap, which you do, but at least you have a preparation, like a framework of what you want to talk about. Bax did what, 3 hours with you guys? I did 2.5 with you. I mean, it went by like that. It was nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I heard a long time ago, you got to fake it till you make it. Right?
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of videos on what the best people do, and then I just tried to replicate that. It's really easy to ask somebody questions, but you got to do it in a way to. There's the person that they want you to see, right? And then there's the people that they actually are.
Yeah.
And what we do on Move the Mic is we let you, right, as the guest, we let you show what you want to see, but just by our chemistry, you're gonna open up and you're gonna be exactly who you really are, and that's what people want to see. That's what makes podcasting what it is.
This is Damian Therian and Eric Williams from the Move the Mic podcast. Now, if anyone wants to see this podcast, it's on YouTube.
Yes,
and the numbers are strong, man. I tell you what, you only do it for how many months? A year, maybe?
4 months.
4 months.
4 months under the Move the Mic handle. I started Unirrelevant Studios about 5 years ago. And I was doing a thing with my close friend Jesse, and then, we had to take some time, and then this just happened. And like I said, it's just the universe was speaking, and it all kind of lined up,
No, it's I think it's a great thing. I think it's another thing that, like you said, to highlight the talent in this area. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you chose us to be on that podcast, but you're absolutely right to go back to that point.
Apparently, the Kellogg crew was too busy that day. They couldn't peel themselves away from all of that.
Pat Kelly to respond.
He's too busy.
He's too busy making AI photos of himself over there. But not that I've seen anything like that at all.
No.
Here, Bax,
subscribe to the Patreon, everybody.
But it kind of got me to think. The more I thought about, there was so much that we talked about in that 2.5 hours. How do you try to wrangle things back to get back to the point that we were trying to do? Because we were going off on tangents. You guys have the glasses when you talk about conspiracy theories. You put the glasses on. I put that on several times during the show.
I think I wore them the whole time.
Yeah, but how do you? Because you want to draw the listener back and to to the point of what you're doing. How difficult is that to do sometimes?
Well, I think the key is to just be actually, curious and to really care about the person that you're interviewing. You know what I mean? Like you can, as the host, the listeners who are coming back, they're accepting our voice as their own, a voice in their own head, one they agree with. So when we're having fun, I try to remind myself that somebody actually wants to know about this person. They have more questions, just like I do. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always being reminded in my head, get back to it. You know what I mean? But Eric is hilarious and just wants to keep the laughs going. So those are great.
And I mean, going off the rails isn't a bad thing sometimes. Because it's like you go off the rails, it creates a whole new conversation. We have fun with that too.
So one of the things that happened when I was there, I assume it happened with you too, is like every time there was like a good line dropped, you handed me a counterfeit $100 bill. Yes. And
we made those ourselves.
No kidding.
Yeah, right.
Really?
I love that.
Well, yeah, by the end of it, I was sitting there with like $4,000 of fake money I couldn't use. But it was just funny the way it was all being presented. Like if you guys had a good line, I said, "Oh, to hell with it. I'll give the money back to you." Yeah. It was a great. How'd that idea come about?
I go by Damien T on stage, and the T stands for Timu. I got hooked on Timu a while ago. They got all these fun games in there, and you can get free stuff. And I have 4 kids, so Christmas is a big Timu time in our house. And I got a lot of free stuff, so I just started seeing all these jewelries and gag gifts, and I thought, why not? Let's spruce up the podcast.
Make it part of the shtick.
Some old fun.
Because I thought you guys were like standing there in front of like a an inkjet copier, just ripping off $100 bill after another.
I think all that would come out of that would be Eric's butt cheeks.
What?
One of the interesting things that we had talked about was these open mic comedy things. Now I'm so far removed from when I started doing this 23 years ago. Mm-hmm. To now, and I'm telling you, all the rooms that are now since closed. Yeah. You guys are going to these open mics and doing the ones that are currently going on. Mm-hmm. I think that was kind of like an eye opener. Going, wow, I'm getting old here. Like,
there are some incredible open mics in our area. Thursday nights. At Hughie's, the Nook in Westfield.
Except for this Thursday night, because there's a $20 dinner and a comedy show on the other side of town at the Shortstop Bar and Grill. Absolutely. I just wanted to stop you before you went too far with that.
No, you're right. You're right.
You don't want to give people too many choices for comedy.
And I hear they got incredible dinner there as
well. They do. They absolutely
awesome.
do. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
So next Thursday.
Yeah, there you
go. And it is there every Thursday when there's not other shows going on. Thursdays at the Nook. It's called Nook at Night, hosted by one of our mentors and great friend, Buddha Joe. He's a veteran of the comedy community, and also a United States veteran. Thank you very much, my brother. And his mics are great. He holds one on Tuesdays at Pulaski Club in East Hampton. That one's really fun for comics because at 7 we get there, we hang out together, we do some writing, pass around ideas, prepare for before you go up, and that's really beneficial for the vibe when you get up on stage.
You guys are also doing a live show too, right?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
March 15th. Ooh,
the Ides of March.
Yeah. Starting off Patty Days weekend.
It's a busy weekend.
That's a huge show. We got music and headliners only booked for this show. Music guests are Wisdom, the Mad Scientist. We have Chris Focus, Soldier Picasso, the Soundbenders, and Mike Sears. To do the comedy show, we got it opening with Jason Marby. Followed by the very hilarious magician-comedian Paul Kilmer, followed by Buddha Joe, C.W. Davis, the Papa Bear of comedy, an L.A. comedian's coming all the way out, Amanda Cohen, shout out Amanda, we love you, and as seen on Fox Soul's hit show, Beige, Rob Santos.
Ooh, yes.
To headline the headliner show.
How did you trick that chick into coming out here?
Well, no, she loves us. Yeah. We're We're trying to build a community here, and these people recognize that.
And I'm sorry, where is this going to be?
This is going to be at the Nook in Westfield.
Oh, wow. And you're going to do a live show, the live podcast as well, right? You're
exactly.
going to film the whole thing.
Yep,
and
that's right.
How much of a pain in the butt is to get all that equipment down there?
It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple years ago it would have been crazy, but now with technology, everything's kind of AI.
Yeah.
So really, it's just plug and play, and you get a little remote, and you set your scenes, and next thing you do, you kill Tony out here.
Yeah. All right. Great. Well, good.
Well, listen, the Move the Mic podcast on YouTube. It's a great time. I don't know when our episodes are coming up. Probably in a couple weeks. Probably
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Drop in 2 weeks.
Awesome. Guys, it's great to see you. Thanks you
Thank
so
you
much
guys
for coming.
very much.
Thanks for having us on, fellas.
Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Damon Therian and Eric Williams, the Move the Mic podcast on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
It's 8:24.
All right. Only one of us can do that.
It's 8:24 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Hi, it's Hank.
26 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
You know, those boys also brought us a coffee maker for the studio, which, you throw it out in the universe, you ask and you shall receive. We
like
got a brand new coffee maker, and we don't even have to have the company pay for it, which I told them, give me the receipt. I mean, this is only probably worth about $6, but they could have had $6 from the company back.
But we don't need much more than that.
No, we don't. Now we just need coffee and creamer and some sweet and low, which we have upstairs.
We got like the mini moos upstairs. We really need to use that. But you know what? Thank you very much to those guys for doing that. That was terribly unnecessary, but very much appreciated.
Well, there we go.
Anyhow. So you'll again, it's the Move the Mic podcast. Those guys are a lot of fun to hang out with, and so you'll see those episodes. You can check out their episodes now. Real cool stuff.
You know, the sad part is they missed out on interviewing Dave Coombs. I mean, he was a local treasure.
Oh, he really was. But you never know. You never know. He could come back.
He was part of our Worcester Bureau of News. You know how like 22 News has the Hampshire County Bureau, and the Boston Bureau. We had the Worcester Bureau. Of Dave Coombs.
Well, thankfully we had some visual aids in the studio that said, okay, Dave, here's where we are, and here's where our listeners are. And there's Worcester over there.
Coming up, you won't believe what happened on Grafton Street last night.
And coming up next, some football scores from Holy Cross.
Yeah, Holy Cross and Worcester Polytechnical Institute.
It's 8:28 at Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass News first.
8:31 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Yankee Home Improvement. Breaking news: homeowners are saving big on windows and showers. Call Yankee Home by Thursday and don't miss out. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
All right, finally, 5 days later, we get the update on the explosions in Montgomery from last Thursday.
What is today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
How timely.
3 men are being held without bail after being arraigned Friday for a variety of weapons and explosive charges for an incident that occurred late Thursday night. Charged were 23-year-old Eric Ballarcreve of Rufus Road, North Point, Florida. What are you doing?
In Montgomery.
Wow, he's probably hanging out with 21-year-old Nikita Slania from Farnham Drive in Holyoke, and Maxim P. Vermichuk, 21 of Spring Street in West Springfield. Each are facing charges of breaching the peace, trespassing, possessive of a destructive or incendiary device, willfully igniting a destructive device, and possession of a large-capacity feeding device. Barlakoff and Slanya were also charged with possession of a firearm without a license, possession of ammunition without an FID, according to court records. The charges resulted from an incident that began at about 9:30 p.m. Thursday, January 30th, when the resident in the area of Toccoa Reservoir called the Russell Montgomery Police Department to report hearing between 50 and 100 gunshots somewhere either near Toccoa Road or in the Toccoa Mountain Wildlife Management Area. We saw moose, then we saw squirrel. Then we fired.
Then we shoot at them.
The RMPD contacted Mass State Police, and they began canvassing the area and spotted 2 cars parked on Pitcher Road, one with state registration and the other with a Florida registration. On the car from Florida was a note with "Gone Backpacking," with a number to call, and inside a plastic-long gun case and shooting targets with bullet holes, according to court records. He goes backpacking up in mountains of Massachusetts.
You know, I mean, I realize that, you know, you can probably shoot guns anywhere here in the United States. What makes you want to come from far, far away to shoot right here in Montgomery?
Well, maybe listen. I knew a guy that used to trade hunting trips. He used to. It was a friend of mine's uncle who lived in Gainesville.
Okay,
and he used to do boar hunting. They used to do boar hunting with spears.
That's crazy.
That's dangerous because if you miss, you better run.
Because the boar only gets angry.
But he used to, like, this was back in the 90s where they put classified ads in the back of hunting magazines.
Oh, yeah.
And he would trade off, like, you know, because he had, like, a little camp or something down in the Gainesville area that he would post in the, whatever, Buck Hunter or whatever magazine it was. And then he'd get these guys from Montana. They'd come here and do boar hunting with spears. And then he would go to Montana to do, like, buffalo hunt or whatever, bison hunt, or whatever they hunt out in Montana.
I don't
know.
I don't know what anyone really does in Montana.
Well,
look at the big sky, and that's about it.
You remember Long-Legged Hannah from Butte, Montana?
I vaguely.
Yeah. Was it the Bellamy brothers, or was it somebody else? I can't
remember.
Anyway, the officers continued their canvassing and came upon a exploded canister of thermite. Did you ever come upon a canister of thermite before?
If you remember from Breaking Bad, thermite is the substance they use to blast through that door to get all those chemicals.
Yeah, well, thermite is sold in sporting goods stores in a ready-to-mix canister, and once mixed can be shot with a high-velocity firearm and cause an explosion. The RMPD police chief called the number on the car, and a man answered who said he was deep in the woods and was initially unwilling to come out and meet with the officers. The chief continued to talk to the man, who identified himself and the two others, and then agreed to come out, but they were 2 to 3 miles away, and it may take some time. And then that chief was like, "We ain't got nothing but time up here, boy. You come on out here." And because of the presence of explosives, the state police bomb squad, fire and explosive investigative unit was called in about 11 p.m. Once one of the state troopers then called the number and spoke with Slanya, who told the trooper he and his friends had also heard the shots, but they didn't have any weapons. Slanya said he and two others were still 2.5 miles away, and it might take 2 hours to come out. Officers waited for about an hour, then called the number again. Slanya answered and said that they were about 30 minutes away.
I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I'm thinking of like John Candy and Joe Flaherty, the two characters on SCTV.
Right.
We're going to blow stuff up. We're going to blow stuff up good.
State police deployed a thermal imaging drone at about midnight. It picked up the heat signatures of the three walking out. As they got near, the officers told the men they wanted to ensure their safety and come out with their hands up, which they did, according to court records. They were detained and frisked. No weapons were found, according to court records. One of the officers spoke to Vermichuk and asked him if any of them had weapons, and Vermichuk said no at first and then admitted to shooting at the thermite. Did you do it? No. Did you do it? Yeah.
Maybe.
When the officer asked him where the weapons were, he didn't answer. He was arrested, according to court records. Balakreev was then interviewed. He then told the officer they had taken 7 to 8 canisters of thermite into the woods and placed them on the ice-covered reservoir and shot them. As one would do on a Thursday night in Montgomery.
Because we like to see things get blown up.
Because of the noise, they were concerned. Minutes later, the chief called, Balakreev told the officer. They panicked and stalled and then hid 3 rifles and a handgun under a camouflage poncho behind a house on Pitcher Street. When an officer interviewed Slanya, he confirmed what Balakreev said. Officers found the weapons described as 3 assault-style rifles and 1 handgun and a cache of ammunition. The 3 rifles were loaded. The handgun wasn't. Balakreev and Slanya were also arrested. They were asked if they had recorded any part of what they had been doing, and Vermichuk said he had on a helmet-mounted camera. Oh, so they recorded the whole crime on camera.
What's the point of doing it if you can't watch videos of it later?
Officers then went to the reservoir to find the exploded canisters. Of the 8, there was 1 that hadn't gone off, and that's when probably the cop was like, all right, let me have a shot at this one.
You can't tell me the cops
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to shoot at a bunch of stuff that gets blowed up.
When they appeared in Westfield District Court on Friday, each was ordered held pending the outcome of a dangerousness hearing.
I don't think they're dangerous. I just think they're having fun in the woods with guns.
See, why couldn't we get this information earlier? Why did it take from Thursday? The arraignment was Friday. You didn't have any reporter from. This is from Mass Live.
Well, because you probably had a weekend staff reporter reporting on this, and it only took until yesterday when, say, like a full-time reporter, someone who wasn't on the weekend staff, said, let's fill in the gaps here a little bit.
Let's fill in what we're gonna do down here.
Now, you might say, well, this sounds like a bunch of drunken idiots out in the woods. I hear the story, I'm saying, man, I wish I was out there to blow stuff up.
I don't even know if they were drinking or not.
Probably not. Sometimes explosions and sobriety go hand in hand.
I'm trying to think. It's going to be, I don't know how cold it was Thursday night, but you're going out in the woods in the winter?
Well, hunters are a special breed.
They weren't hunting anything. They were blowing stuff up.
Right, but, they're outdoorsy kind of guys, and, you can't just blow stuff up in your backyard. You got to go where no one's going to find you.
What is this Dubai chocolate? Have you heard of this?
Dubai chocolate? No.
Yeah. This is out of Worcester.
Okay.
Those who still haven't had the chance or the money to try the viral Dubai chocolate bar can get something similar for a fraction of the price of a Boston area bakery chain. Union Square Donuts is doing its own take on the viral Dubai chocolate bar with a donut inspired by the sweet treat. I hear the kids talking about it, but I still don't understand what it is.
So my understanding is, I'm looking it up now. So it's like a regular chocolate bar, but in the middle of it is that pistachio filling.
Ah.
Probably delicious.
Okay, but how do these things become viral?
I don't know. My guess is there's someone who put a video on it and broke it in half, and you had all this green
People
nutty pistachio drooling all over it.
Yeah,
and everyone's going, "How do I get that? What is that?"
Do you ever make pistachio butter?
No.
You just take a bunch of pistachios and you grind. It's peanut butter. It's like peanut butter.
I bet it's delicious.
Grind it up in thing. It's very expensive to make.
Well, of course.
Especially getting all those shelled pistachios.
You know what I got sucked into trying the other day, and I saw it on like TikTok videos.
Yeah.
It's like regular cacao, the nut that they make chocolate out of, and you brew it kind of like you would brew coffee.
Yeah.
And it's got like a lot of the same kind of benefits of coffee without caffeine and without there's some more health benefits to it.
Really?
I've been drinking it for like the last week or so. It's delicious.
It's not expensive to make?
Oh, it's wicked expensive. But if I'm going to give my dog an 80-pound, $80 bag of dog food, I don't mind giving myself a little bit of a treat with the cacao.
You're a penny packer over there is doling out money for dog food and high-priced items from TikTok.
This wasn't a TikTok product, but it was being promoted, and I tried it, and I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty damn good. Haven't really had a cup of coffee in a while.
I wish I had your kind of money to be wasting on high-priced dog food. And
now that my kids are largely done with college,
yeah,
I suddenly have money in my pocket.
Oh, don't tell anybody that.
I didn't say a lot of money. Yeah. I still have many obligations to fulfill, and but suddenly now I can actually start spending on me for a change.
And your dog is probably like, thank God you were spending all that money on those kids of yours. I'm also a child of yours. Why can I not get the bougie dog food? A little taste of the wild, if you will. Or that Dave Ratner scam food.
No, it's not scam food.
Is that what you buy? Do you buy the Dave Ratner food?
No, I get another one, a different kind.
You're listening to him talk about how it's good to get better dog food, but you don't buy the stuff that he sells.
Well, listen, our dog has been eating this one kind of food for his entire life. I can't just switch things up.
Yes, you can. You slowly, you can go back and forth from kibbles and bits.
Maybe the next time we get a dog, I will buy Dave's.
A Michigan animal shelter wants you to neuter your ex for Valentine's Day again.
Neuter your ex?
Yeah. They'll do it for you. You don't have to neuter your ex this way. After last year's successful fundraiser, Heaven Can Wait Animal Haven will once again name and snip a feral cat after your ex in exchange for a $25 donation to their PayPal account.
I'm not sure I understand what. Okay, I was going to say.
Instead of like actually neutering your ex,
I'm neutering the cat.
You're neutering a cat, but in the name of your ex that you wish was neutered.
I see.
What a
dumb idea.
Well, not a dumb idea. I mean, they raised quite a bit of money last year doing this. The shelter's Trap Neuter Return Program will snip cats and return them to their respective colonies. Heaven Can Wait says the cats will be named in the order they are given. Bear in mind, it may be at least a few months until your ex's name is used.
You know, when I got a vasectomy, I didn't do it and dedicate it to anybody. I didn't do a long-distance dedication. I just said...
Like a Casey Kasem long-distance dedication?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't believe I did a vasectomy for a dead dog.
I love that audio. That is some of my favorite audio from Casey Kasem is when he goes off the rails.
That's a good one. And the bus conversations with Buddy Rich.
Oh, yes. I remember hearing those. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, things we can go down a TikTok rabbit hole later on is looking up things like those.
Actually, if you listen to them and you compare them to like some Seinfeld episodes, Seinfeld used that stuff from those Buddy Rich conversations all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll have to check that out.
All the time.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be cloudy with a high of 39. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 28. It's 36 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
John Hazen here. It's
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:52, and Van Halen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
The bad Van Halen.
Well, there's no bad Van Halen. I mean,
that song sucks, though.
That was a big major hit for those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Yeah, dude. We play nothing but songs from the 90s and before.
Not one of my favorites.
Well, it's like, Steve, what are you going to do?
I should run a 2-hour all my horrible song show.
Yeah, like all the songs that only you like.
Tom Petty. No, only I don't like.
And that would be different from any other day. How?
Well, you're condensing it to 2 hours as opposed to spreading it over 24. You know what I'm saying? Let's get all the bad ones out of the way.
Yeah, good idea.
All the pile of shiznit. Yeah.
Hey, Joe. Guitar legend Joe Bonamassa is coming to Foxwoods at the Premier Theater on March 1st. It's going to be a great show. If you've ever seen Joe Bonamassa or heard him play, you know he's absolutely fantastic. He's been on the show before, but we happen to have a pair of tickets to that show at Foxwoods, March 1st. Joe Bonamassa, 10th caller right now at 293-1021. Good luck to you.
Joe Bonamassa.
Joe Bonamassa.
Blame it on the Bonamassa.
No, that's Bossa Nova.
Whatever.
Pretty close.
All right.
All right.
We tried to do this yesterday, and we got stuck somewhere. I can't remember where we got stuck at.
I think it was Aldo Nova.
Yes, it was.
I don't know why we got
you
stuck. I don't even know how we
up.
got to that.
I don't know. You're thinking of that kid's book, what I was talking about earlier with the Vikings raping and pillaging the village.
Oh, no, that's Where's Waldo.
Yeah, there you go.
Wasn't even thinking of that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's 8:55 at Rock 102.